America, a police officer is 18.5 times more likely to be killed by a black man than an unarmed black man is to be killed by a police officer. That's not spin. That's a statistical fact. On the surface, and with what's going on today, some people will brush off that statistic because it's much easier to believe that all cops are bad and, as LeBron James put it, black people are being hunted every time they leave their home, than admit to the fact that everyone has been misled when it comes to this issue. America has been sold this idea that police brutality is out of control. And while that might be true in specific cases, that is not a true and accurate representation of the overall reality. So let's look at some statistics, shall we? In 2018 and 2019, of almost 10.5 million arrests and 53 million interactions between police officers and civilians, there were around 1,000 fatal shootings by police. That being said, most of these people were considered armed and dangerous. And contrary to popular belief, even when violent offenders are fatally shot by police, it has nothing to do with racial bias. Data from 2019 concluded there is no significant evidence of anti-black disparity in the likelihood of being fatally shot by police. So let's talk about those unarmed fatal shootings. In 2019, of the people who were fatally shot, 41 were unarmed. 9 were black, 19 were white, 89 police officers were killed in the line of duty. And the fact is, in the United States, you are more likely to die of medical malpractice than you are by a police officer. But let's say you're not convinced, and you don't actually think the police are killing people, but rather they're roughing them up and hurting them during arrests. And let's just pretend for argument's sake that police don't have body cams that are recording their actions day in and day out. How violent are the police really? As it turns out, not very. A 2018 study that looked at almost 120,000 criminal arrests across 3 large precincts found that 99% of those arrests were carried out without any physical force. When the officers did use force, in 98% of those cases, the suspect sustained mild or no injury. So just to confirm, less than 1% of arrests result in some sort of mild to serious injury. It's really easy to forget that police officers are people, just like you and me, who are working in an extremely hostile environment. That doesn't excuse the behavior of bad cops, of course, but it does demonstrate that the majority of police officers do show an enormous amount of restraint, even when confronted with daily horrific crimes and danger. I think people forget that police officers go to work every day in a society that says that they're trash, and then they have people acting out that overt hostility towards them. Police officers are still people with feelings, who are aware of the fact that if something goes wrong at work or something gets out of control, there's a likelihood that they won't be going home to their families. Of course, there's room for improvement when it comes to policing and the relationship between police officers and civilians. But the destructive narrative that all cops are racist, disgusting, violent people needs to end. But more importantly, it needs to be recognized for the deliberately damaging, unfounded lie that it is.